Hello, everybody. So this is the video for Tuesday, November 8th for technical writing class. So this is going to be a video in which I'm just going to show you a few things. There isn't anything due this week because what you all need to be working on is organizing your idea, your topic for the final paper. So that's going to be taking up most of your time. What I do want to point out to you is what is new in the Unit 4 folder as far as guides to this assignment, which will hopefully answer your questions about the final paper's structure, the expectations for it, and what a successful final paper looks like. So we're going to go to the folder right now. I'm going to turn on screen sharing and we will see what's new in Unit 4. So from our Blackboard site, we're going to go into content. And come on, go into content. Blackboard's a little slow today. What a surprise. And we're going to go into the Unit 4 folder. And you will notice in the Unit 4 folder that under the final paper assignment, the topic proposal upload prompt, and note that that was due November 1st, right? So anybody who has not yet turned in a topic proposal, it's now 1 week overdue. Those of you who did turn in a topic proposal, I returned all of the topic proposal grades back. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. What I wanted to look at today is the final paper structure guide. Okay, so let's open that up. So the final paper structure guide tells you what the shape and organization of the final paper is. So what you're going to need to do here is in the final paper, you're going to need to hang on just a sec while I close out a few things. There you go. You are going to need the abstract to start with. And the abstract is basically a summation of your paper. It's one paragraph introducing the problem that your technology aims to solve, and then describing your proposal and how it solves the problem. The abstract is the last part of the paper to be written. So please don't try to start your paper with the abstract. You need to first have the paper all laid out and completed before you can summarize it into a single paragraph. So don't try to put the cart before the horse there. The abstract is the last part of the paper to be written, but the first part that appears on the first page. So after the abstract goes the statement of need. Now, this is where most of your research is going to take place. Most of your sources that you're going to cite are going to be documenting the problem. The statement of need is a detailed description of the problem that your technology aims to solve. So, for example, here, if you propose a new kind of silent car alarm that does not wake people up in the middle of the night, doesn't disturb your neighbors, then this is where you would document with citations the annual number of noise complaints that the city receives due to car alarms, right? So you're going to need to document the problem, the size of the problem, with facts and with citations. Following that is the technical description. The technical description describes the solution that you are proposing in detail with illustrations as needed. So please note, it is not a sales pitch. So please avoid the infomercial tone, right? You are not trying to sell a product in the technical description or anywhere in this paper. This paper is not about selling a product. This paper is about proposing an improvement to an existing system. The next part, part 4, is the application of the system improvement. And here is where you match the issues listed in the statement of need to the features of your proposed solution. So In other words, in the statement of need, if you list 3 problems with a current technology in use, when you get to the application part 4, this is where you match those solutions that you've come up with those 3 problems. How does your system improvement proposal solve the problems that you specified in your statement of need? Okay, and we will talk about that more as we get closer to our deadlines. The conclusion doesn't introduce any new points or any new data, but it does state in words why the time is right for your proposed technology solution. Think of the conclusion as being less than a page. So this is going to stay in the Unit 4 folder, right? It's going to be your guide as you go through each part of constructing this final paper. So if you are interested in what successful system improvement proposals look like, this is something that a lot of people ask me for in doing this. So this is what I have offered to you, is 2 examples of system improvement proposals from the past that students have turned in to me and have received A's. Okay, so that means that you cannot copy their work. You cannot copy their proposal. That's the only downside to this. But hopefully you're going to see the upside when we open them up. So I'm going to open up the first one. All right, so this is a proposal for, as it says, creating network hotspots in New York City to improve internet connectivity. Right, you can see that I blotted out the names, blotted out the dates for security and discretion. So system improvement proposal starts with an abstract, okay? So you can see the abstract. I'm gonna just make it real clear to everybody. It's just 1 paragraph, right? That's how long the abstract is, right? Number 2, statement of need. In the statement of need, this is where they outline the issue, right? And they are citing it, right? Citing it with APA formatting, where they got the information, documenting how many New York City households have inadequate internet access, right? Breaking it down, adding graphics, each borough in the city. This information is available, right? It's available through city and state government websites, right? And they added captions where they got the information. And explain the captions, not just putting, you know, the teeny weeny documentation of where the caption came from, but also adding captions. Now, this is something that I told people about in my feedback for the last papers, the instruction manuals, that not only do you need to include graphics, you need to include captions that explains what we're looking at, okay? So they did this very well in this paper. Figure 1, share of households without broadband internet access. So notice that the statement of need is really quite detailed and quite long, with a lot of documentation, details, and citations in it, documenting the scope of the problem, followed by the technical description, right? And here they match what their proposal is going to do to the problem. More graphics that describe and show how the technology will work, right? And we can see that the application of the system improvement proposal sums up how it is going to solve the problem, right? Got the conclusion at the end. The conclusion you can see, less than a page, okay? It should give you a sense of it. The other one, I'll let you take a look at it. The other one is about plastic roads, which sounds a little odd, but a way to reduce excess plastic waste and at the same time solve the problem of potholes in the city. Interesting idea, but that one is equally, you know, a success. So what I want people to just be aware of is, just going to show you just the first part of that paper. I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but I want to show you the cover sheet, right? APA formatted cover sheet, right? It's okay to put a graphic. The other people put a graphic on their APA formatted cover sheet. That's okay too, but I do want to see all of this on the cover sheet, okay? But we are still quite far from the deadline. It will creep up on us, I promise you that. But in the meantime, I want everybody to know what it is that we are finishing this class with. What is the scope of this final paper? What's expected in it? Why is there nothing else due between now and the end of the semester other than this? It's because it's a very big project and it needs to be worked on starting now. So that's basically where we're at. So let's just stop sharing for a moment and I will talk about the topic proposals. So some people emailed me not understanding why they didn't get 100 points on the topic proposal. The answer to that is that nobody got 100 points on the topic proposal. And it's not anything to worry about because the topic proposal is basically your first idea coming out of the gate. I expect it to go through several revisions before it's really ready, right? So the topic proposal is not expected to be perfect in the first go. Almost nobody gets it perfect in the first go. So don't worry about it if you got an 80 or if you got even a 65. Read the feedback. The feedback will tell you whether or not I think it will work. And for most people, I do think that you came up with a workable idea, but also for most people, I think you need to take some things into consideration, maybe refocus it, maybe narrow it down a little, maybe make it more specific, or perhaps consider another aspect to the problem, right? So pay attention to the feedback rather than paying attention to the number that you got. If you got something like, if you got less than 50%, really read the feedback because the feedback might be saying, I don't even think this idea is going to work. It might be saying, please consider something else. And that's the reason that I asked everybody to come up with a backup idea in addition to your first idea, right? Because for those who put forward 2 or 3 ideas, it's a lot easier for me to give you immediate feedback and say, I think number 3 is your best shot, or I think number 2 is really going to work. And then give a couple of reasons why, and that kind of, you know, facilitates the whole process and gets you to a workable idea quicker. So if the feedback says, I really think you ought to come up with a different idea entirely, then you can keep submitting. You can keep submitting new ideas to me. And the more ideas you submit, the quicker we will get to one that'll work. And I'm going to keep checking the Grade Center for resubmissions of topic proposals. And even if you did get, you know, an 80 or 90, and I said, this looks great, go for it, think about these 2 things, and then you decide to change your mind, that's okay too. That prompt is going to stay open and you can, you know, you can submit. Just realize that at a certain point we run out of time. At a certain point, it's going to get closer to the deadline where you're going to need to submit your first draft. And that is November 29th. So that's why there's no new upload prompts yet, because I don't want anybody to rush this, okay? So next week, I'll put up the upload prompt for that November 29th first draft and outline. So the outline will need to follow that structure guide. Everybody's paper is going to need to follow that structure guide. And so what I want to see on November 29th is an outline with all of your pieces there and at least your first 2 sources, right? That's what you're going to need to have between now and November 29th. All of that is on the assignment sheet. Okay, so all of the deadlines are on the assignment sheet. But for now, what I want folks to do is to try to see, by looking at those examples of topic system improvement proposals that I put up, if your idea is complex enough or focused enough to fit within that framework, right? Can you imagine your idea turning into a paper of that stature. Okay, so that I think is going to help everybody. It's going to give you a lot to think about, a lot to chew on. You can begin drafting your outline between now and next week, but that's what I want everybody to do between now and next week. So, you know, just that initial work. And if you decide, hey, I don't think that my paper can ever turn into, or I don't think my topic idea can ever turn into a paper of that level, then send me a new topic, okay? And we will eventually get to something that'll work, okay? But just remember that we do have deadlines. It's just that this is, you know, this is a time for you to really be working, brainstorming, and researching, you know, going online to try to find sources. And we're going to be talking about that next week, about what kind of sources work well for a paper like this. So everybody have a good week, and we will see you all next week.